Greg Ehrenberg here from Stokastic.com, and it is time for another MMA card and more PrizePicks action. So I'm going to be rattling off some of my favorite PrizePicks props for this weekend slate. Do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also, if you're signing up at PrizePicks for the first time, use the promo code AWESEMO because it's going to get you up to a $100 bonus on your first deposit, and that's really the best way to help build your bankroll. Good picks, that obviously helps. But I'm not giving away free money here, and that is something PrizePicks is doing when you sign up for the first time using that promo code AWESEMO. But without further ado, these are my favorite props for this Saturday's card. For my first pick on the slate, I'm actually looking at the first fight of the entire card, and that is Jessica Penne versus Emily Ducote. And I'm looking at under 1 takedowns for Jessica Penne, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be takedowns or takedown. I'm only talking about 1 for and under, but I'm not here to be a grammar expert. I'm here to give you guys some betting advice to win money on. And I like Jessica Penne under 1 takedown/takedowns. So when it comes to Penne, she's been in the UFC for a very long time now, and she's old. She was born on January 30th, 1983. So, we're looking at Penne now 39 years old. And it's just been a long time since we've really seen her get the takedown game going. Even in some of her recent wins, it's not like she's racked up a lot of takedowns. She had the win over Lupe Godinez, which was a pretty controversial decision. She only had 1 takedown in that fight. The win over Karolina Kowalkiewicz, she also only had 1 takedown, ultimately ended up getting a submission off her back in that fight. You have to go all the way back to 2014 against Ronda Marcos when we had a fight from Jessica Penne where she had multiple takedowns. And I really do think that Ducote has her covered in every single aspect of this fight. I think Ducote is the better wrestler, the better grappler, the better striker. So I think Penne is going to have difficulty getting this fight to the mat. And then even if that does happen where she gets a takedown, I don't think it's going to be a situation where she's able to hold her down and rack up multiple takedowns. Like I said, we have to go all the way back to 2014. It's been 8 years since she had a fight with multiple takedowns. So at worst, this fight does look like pretty likely to be a draw or a push on this takedown prop, because I don't think this is a scenario where she's going to get multiple takedowns. What I think is most likely to happen is Ducote's going to be able to fend off the takedowns, keep this fight on the feet, or maybe even wrestle offensively on her own and have success on top of Jessica Penne. But I really do think this is Ducote's fight to win. I think she should be a bigger favorite than what the line is currently at. So I'm going to be looking at under 1 takedown for Jessica Penne. And on my next pick, I'm going to look even deeper into some more props on the Ducote side. So like I just alluded to there when I was going with under 1 takedown for Jessica Penne that I like more about the Ducote side, I also like Emily Ducote over 57.5 significant strikes. And by the way, these are 2 props that I really think parlay well together, because if we get the scenario where Penne isn't able to land takedowns, well, what happens then? Well, this fight probably plays out on the feet, or we see Ducote wrestle offensively. And then I think she should just have her way on the feet with Penne. I think Ducote is the much better striker and should have higher output in this spot as well. If you look at the last 3 fights for Emily Ducote, and overall, her record isn't all that impressive. She only has an 11-6 record, but she's also much younger than Penne, almost 10 years younger, or actually more than 10 years younger, at 28 years of age. But also her recent wins, her last 2 both came by finishes. A KO over Danielle Taylor, and then also a doctor stoppage against Alicia Zapatella. And also something else to read into that fight, and MMA math doesn't always work, but Danielle Taylor beat Jessica Penne when they last fought in the UFC. That was actually Jessica Penne's last loss, and that was somebody who Emily Ducote was able to finish fairly easily on the feet. So I really do think there's a big striking advantage for her, and since I think Penne is going to struggle to land takedowns, this is a very low significant strike prop, only 57.5. I think Ducote should be able to hit the over without too much difficulty here, assuming the fight plays out on the feet, which once again, we're getting a little bit of positive correlation between that and the under takedowns for Penne. So I do like Emily Ducote for over 57.5 significant strikes on Saturday. For my final pick on the card, I'm looking at Miesha Tate for over 2 takedowns. And it's been a weird comeback for Miesha Tate because it seemed like she was retired. She was over in 1 championship. She was in a management type role for them over there. She was also doing commentary. She's a really big radio personality now, but Miesha Tate now is making an interesting return to the octagon in terms of she fought a couple of fights at her natural weight class, and now she's moving down to flyweight. So this is going to be her flyweight debut, and I think she's going to have a pretty significant strength advantage over Lauren Murphy. And that's why I'm really liking this over 2 takedowns for Miesha Tate. We know that's generally what her strategy has been for most of her career. And if you look at the statistics on her, she lands 2 takedowns per 15 minutes, which indicates, fair line here. That's exactly what the line is set at. 2 takedowns in a 15-minute fight. But with her moving to a new weight class and what I think should be a pretty significant strength advantage against Lauren Murphy, I think we could really see her rack up takedowns here. The one concern I have is maybe she's just so much stronger than Lauren Murphy that she could take her down and just hold her there. But historically, we have seen Lauren Murphy be able to get up from takedowns in the past. So I think that we should be able to see Miesha Tate, even if she lands, 1, 2 takedowns, we'll still potentially see Lauren Murphy get up and Miesha Tate then be able to land some additional takedowns as she gets back to her feet. So I do think the strength should play a really big advantage for Tate in this fight, just to reiterate that point. So I'm going to be siding with over 2 significant strikes. I do want to see what Miesha Tate looks on the scales because it is her first ever fight at the flyweight weight class, but I don't really have too much doubts about it just because she's looked so good physically since coming back from her layoff and retirement. I think she should make the weight pretty easily and once again just be bigger and stronger than Murphy in this matchup. So give me Miesha Tate over 2 takedowns for her first flyweight fight. So to recap my props for this weekend over on PrizePicks, I'm looking at Emily Ducote over 57.5 significant strikes, Jessica Penne for under 1 takedown, and then Miesha Tate over 2 takedowns. These are my 3 favorite props over at PrizePicks, although I'm curious to hear from you guys as well. What are some of the props that you guys are looking at that I might have overlooked? What are your favorite props on the board? Also, don't forget when you're signing up at PrizePicks for the first time, use the promo code AWESEMO. Get $100 extra money in your pocket. Who says no to free money? And then also when you're playing at PrizePicks, there's a couple of different ways to play these props. There's the flex play, where you only have to hit 2 out of 3 of these props correctly, and you're going to make back some money, which so far I've hit at least 2 out of 3 in all of the videos that I've done so far. So this does seem pretty safe. You go 2 out of 3, you get 1.25 extra entry fee. But if you go 3 out of 3, you get 2.25 extra entry fee. If you're really confident that all 3 of these props are going to hit, there's something called the power play. You go 3 out of 3 and you get 5x the return on your entry fee. So a couple of different ways to play these over at PrizePicks. But once again, I want to hear from you guys. What props do you like? Also, before you leave, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Good luck and enjoy the card this weekend.